Yeah, my name is Mike Wagner. I'm a senior product manager at ARRI Lighting, and I handle all of the LED products for the lighting division. I went to NYU Film School and focused in cinematography and lighting. And I was working professionally for a little bit after school and decided that the freelance lifestyle wasn't really for me. So I was looking for jobs and happened to find a really great job working at Roscoe. And I started with their LED products there with the light pad and a couple of the other film and television products for them. Worked for Roscoe for about 6 years. And then after Roscoe, I found a job at ARRI, and I've been working with them ever since, developing new LED products. So I technically work for ARRI in Germany. I work for the lighting factory in Germany. And so my job is basically to specify and kind of shepherd the product from its very early stages all the way to the end. So that's my job, is to kind of find what new products are required by the industry, what people are looking for, and then to specify those products so that they really follow what the customer wants from an LED product. And then I work very closely with the engineers to help bring that product to life. The product manager is really also, in my opinion, a combination of art and science, as well as cinematography is. I mean, that is something that I really liked about cinematography. It was this combination of being very artistic, but also you have to be very technical as well. You have to know how a light works or how a camera works and how these things all mix together. The DP is one of the few people that has, or that should have, that kind of global view over the set of the lighting, the camera, and how all of these things are fitting together. And similarly, from a product manager standpoint, you kind of have to know that you're working with artists in a lot of ways. You have to think about design and some of the the softer points of a product, about how it's the use cases of it. And but you also have to have a very good understanding of how the product works from a technical standpoint, how heat management is done for an LED product, how the LEDs work, and knowing those things. It's one of the things, one of the old sayings is you have to know how something works in order to break it, or you have to know how a system works in order to to bend the rules and things like that. So once you know those technical elements, you could apply that to a use case scenario, how a customer could use it. The most difficult thing in product management, or in creating any product really, is not only giving people what they need and what they want, but also thinking past that, about what they will want in the future. I'm always quoting something from Henry Ford, who always said, if I had asked what people wanted, they would have said a faster horse. And that's very difficult to kind of think uniquely and think have originality and think about what people are going to want in the future, and not just to have it be a novelty, but really to have it be something that they are going to need, because technology changes, the way people are shooting are changing, or whatever it might be. Those are really the hardest things to think of, but it's something that we really try to do at ARRI. It's a lot of fun, yeah. I mean, and the ARRI has got really outstanding engineers in Germany. Everything is developed and manufactured still in Germany. So it's about 50 minutes south of Munich that we have our factory. And the engineers are really brilliant, and it's because of that combination of the market knowledge that comes from product management and then the technical expertise that comes from the engineers that allow us to really create outstanding products. I was hired as an American to join because some of the important things are that you want to have a very global view of things. The world has gotten much smaller very, very quickly. You could be on a plane almost anywhere, any time of day, and be there within a day's time or so, depending on where you're going. So the world has gotten much smaller. People are talking a lot more to each other. People from China talk to people in Hollywood, and people in Hollywood talk to people in Europe, and people are shooting in all these different locations, and there's cross-pollination between all of these people. So it's really important to have a global view, to not have it just be, for example, a European central view. And that's been the view of ARRI for a long time. When they were developing cameras, for example, they got a lot of feedback from ASC members, and that was really crucial to the success of all of these products, is that we go to the source. We go to what people in the field, in all of these different markets, need. not just Europe, but also here in Hollywood, in New York, in Beijing, in Australia, you name it. We have, our finger on the pulse of all these different markets, and that really is what allows you to create something that's going to be long-lasting. Having the camera division, there's a lot of expertise in that, and certainly our engineers are talking constantly about what's happening in the camera so that we can think about how that affects our lights and vice versa. But one of the other philosophies that we have are, of course, we want it to work perfectly with the Alexa, but there are also a lot of other camera platforms out there, and a really good light will work across the board with all these different kinds of sensors and different kinds of camera systems that are out there. So we try not to be too biased to our own technology because you could kind of maybe sometimes get lost in the marketing, so to speak. We definitely take advantage of the sensor knowledge that there is in Munich, but we also apply some other ideas and philosophies to that as well. We try not to be a Me Too company. We're not going to create a product just because we don't have it. So we try to look very strategically about what are the needs of the market out there, what is not being offered, what could we bring to the table that maybe no other company could. And so that's kind of the way that we think about new products. And hopefully we have some things planned that are going to be just as exciting as all the stuff that we had before. The hardest thing is that my last name being Wagner, everyone just assumes that I speak German right away. So I've had to convince them that no, I'm American. I speak English mostly.
So what are you working on there?
So right now I am reassembling an S60. This is a customer's unit that was sent in for a little bit of water damage. We've gone ahead and put the parts that we need on order. So we're just waiting for them to approve the estimate, and we'll go from there. Once we get the parts in, we can go ahead and start swapping pieces and hopefully get the light back in working order.
And so normally you get something like that. Are you given a story about what happened to the unit?
Typically we'll get something a little vague, something like light's not working or light has no output. Typically it's on us to see if we find like water damage or something that wasn't mentioned by the customer.
You do get the occasional honest customer that says it was in a rainstorm or it dropped off the back of the truck.
We have some units that go underwater for
but half the
specialty
time
shoots.
they say it never came off the truck, it just wasn't working. And
Yeah, it was a big surprise.
Right.
Yeah. So what, for example, happened here?
So this one most likely was either left somewhere in slightly moist conditions. There's a little bit of mold buildup underneath.
Mold?
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's sitting somewhere nice and cool. Damp.
most likely came out of Atlanta.
Oh.
It's one of our customers that have offices all across the country, so we get a lot of stuff from Atlanta, even though the New York office is a few hundred miles away instead of a few thousand miles away. They'll send everything back to their central LA office, and then they decide from there if they're going to fix it in-house or if they're going to send it back to the manufacturer.
So you guys are here in Burbank, but is there a fix-it repair place for ARRI in New York or Atlanta?
Yeah, we have New York, and then we also have authorized service center in Dallas.
What about Toronto?
And Toronto, we've got Toronto, New York, Texas, and California, and Brazil.
Yeah.
And then do you guys feel like you have a pretty solid workload? I mean, is there always something to do?
It's consistent.
It ebbs and flows. Sometimes you're overwhelmed, and other times it's like, okay, when's our next piece coming in?
Yeah. There's a couple days where you'll be cleaning the office for a few hours.
And HMIs to LEDs, what's the breakdown?
It's probably half and half right now. We've been selling electronic ballasts since the early 90s, and we still work on stuff that's over 20 years old. This one's not that old. This is from '09, but I get stuff from the early 90s that's still operating, 25 years later, and it's still out there making somebody money. And for the most part, we can still keep them going. There's a few, that have been discontinued for a long time that we can't get parts for anymore. But for the most part, I don't know what piece of electronics you have in your house that's 25 years old that's still working, but it can't be very much of anything.
No, that's pretty good. Now, is there anything that stumps you guys where you feel like, oh, I got to get that back to Germany?
Occasionally, sometimes.
I think we've only sent one piece of equipment.
Yeah.
One LED product back to Germany, which is pretty good. We can, everything can be repaired from here, from any of our facilities. We have contact with the engineers, so if we have a question that we're stumped, we have a way of hooking up to the to the internet, and an engineer in Germany can examine the unit from Germany, and like I said, we've only had to send one back. Everything else has been fixed in-house.
That's pretty good, really. Now, how long have you worked here?
I've worked here, next month will be 23 years.
Wow. and how long what's your longevity here?
Going on 2 years. Yeah. So just under 2 years.
What got you into being a repair guy at ARRI?
I used to work for I think it's a franchised computer repair company, right? So then when I found out there was a position open at ARRI, I applied, got in, and I was doing paperwork for the repair department for a while until there was an opening here in the repair department. And once there was, I jumped on it.
Do you have any say in getting this guy hired?
Well, when he applied for the position, like I said, he was doing admin work, and so I talked to him, but his background was computer repair. All the LED products are computers that put out light. It was a perfect fit, and he's been amazing. A real big help.
Did you just hear him say that?
I did. And it's a big accolade getting a compliment from Aaron.
So that's awesome. And then now there must be other folks like JCX or DTC or whatever where you deal with the shop guys that are fixing stuff.
Yeah, there's places all over the country that have technicians in-house. Like you said, JCX has a technician there, and I'll send customers that are calling from up there instead of sending them down here. Don't let my boss hear that, but I'll send work his way. It helps the customer because they can get their equipment turned around faster. They don't have to ship it down here, ship it back, and wait for us to repair it. So, instead of being 2 weeks, it may be 3 days that they can get their equipment back. And if it's, in transport or on the bench or in queue here, it's not making the guy any money. So we try to do right for our customers.
Yeah, right on. Now, what is there some kind of a ailment that a light has that you go, oh, this is easy?
There's a few. There's a couple. I think probably the HMI series are more susceptible to that. Sometimes it's just a small adjustment on a micro switch, and we're back up and running. With the LEDs, they're just like computers, so occasionally you'll see symptoms that you'll recognize, like on a laptop. If you see it slowing down, it could be a bad hard drive or something similar to that. Just certain key signatures that you'll kind of start to correlate with failing parts or something that needs to be swapped.
Now, with your computer background, is that something where you've been able to help Aaron? Or were you well versed in all that already?
No, he's much better at a lot of the nuts and bolts interiors of the computers, where he helps me out occasionally.
So just like out on a film set, having young and old folks is makes a good team.
Yeah, very much so.
Especially with the way technology's moving today.
I told some students, we do classes for some of the local universities and stuff occasionally, and because our daylight equipment is so robust, you can, you know, run it in heavy rains and continue to work, and it's great. Then we went to a computer that puts out light, and I told them, okay, this is a computer. I said, you're not going to put your laptop in the lawn, turn the sprinklers on, and expect to do a term paper tonight. You know, this is a computer. Treat it like a computer. Don't treat it like a shop bag, and it'll be good to you.
So maybe the students will treat it better than some of the other crews in the field, right?
Most likely. And a lot of the schools are on such a shoestring budget, you know, they might have 2 of these, you know, and if somebody breaks it, that guy's name is going to be mud, you know. Oh, he's the one that did blah, 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 fill in the blank. And you don't want to be that guy.
So you're helping the new generation think well about their computers.
Yeah. Their worst enemy is water, and then impact also, because, you know, this is cast aluminum parts. It's heavy, it's robust. A lot of the stuff on the LEDs, you know, it doesn't have the heat, so a lot of the cast aluminum has been changed to a really good composite plastic material for weight and cost. So, you know, they don't take impact as well, and they don't like water. I did have a customer, they dropped the L7 and just really destroyed a lot of the plastic parts. Now the cast aluminum parts are pretty expensive, so he had me give him an estimate, and it wasn't outrageous because something that would cost $300 on this was $35 because it was plastic. And he looked at the estimate, he goes, well, I can't make them buy a new light for that that price. So the repairs were a lot less money, but it's easier to break the plastic than it is the cast aluminum.
Yeah, so sort of plus minus.
I'd say treat it like a laptop is probably the
That's
best piece of advice
on
I
the
can
LED
give for
equipment. It's a computer that puts out light.
Right on. Hey, thanks guys. Appreciate your time.